Dannylau here with Line Real Estate, empowering individuals and families with financial success through real estate. With the real estate market soaring lately, it's a natural question to ask, is it a good time to buy? I'm here to actually tell you that this particular question is irrelevant. As a matter of fact, I rarely hear this question coming from an experienced real estate investor. Well, let's explore why. So let's view this particular question through the lens of two types of people. Typically, for a real estate purchaser, it is most likely going to be a primary home. Everybody needs somewhere to live. And so as a homeowner, now you're looking at the real estate market, you're thinking, well, the real estate prices are soaring. But now I'm going to provoke the question. We know that prices fluctuate. Prices of gasoline fluctuates, prices of furniture fluctuates, prices of lumber, of groceries fluctuate. Well, are you going to stop buying broccoli at the grocery store just because it went from $3 to $3.50? No, even though it's a more than 10% increase of that particular grocery item, you're still gonna buy it because you need to eat. And so why does it matter when it comes to real estate purchasing if you need somewhere to live? Well, when you're looking for somewhere to live, you have two options basically. Buying, renting. So now if you're purchasing, I would, number one, focus on two things. Let's make it three things. Layout and the location. And the third thing is going to be whether it suits your family's lifestyle or not, right? And so you shop layout, you shop location, the neighborhood, school district, and then whether that particular house suits your family's needs. And so you're purchasing based on need, not want. Now you can make an argument and say, well, what if I just rent if the market is soaring? Well, obviously you can rent. However, understand that rental markets usually lags behind these resale market for about 6 months. It's not a hard rule, but typically it's not immediate. But what happens is when the real estate market is soaring, the people that are priced out of the purchases now shift gear into rentals. And so rental market actually also jumps forward, but that has a little gap in timing. And so the rental market also heats up about 6 months to a year down the road from the real estate spike. And so even though you may make the argument and say, well, if I'm not buying, I can rent. Just know that the rental market is also going to heat up and also going to be competitive when you are jumping into the rental market. And of course, also that is the opportunity cost of renting. And during the duration of your lease, you're losing money every single month and bleeding, paying somebody else's mortgage off while you're having a harder time coming up saving the down payments towards your purchase down the road. So now, that's through the lens of homeowner. As a real estate investor, the types of questions I typically hear comes in two forms. The first form of the real estate investors I typically run into are going to be flippers. And so a lot of times they just look at a project. Okay, how much is this neighborhood worth? How much is this home going to be worth after the flipper is done with the project? Let's say afterwards it's going to be 400 grand. Now all they're going to look at is the labor and material cost for the construction, the flip, and then how much they can get the property for. So if the property, they can get it for 250,000 and then put 50 grand towards it and sell it for 400, well, anybody is going to jump right on that. There is enough what we call meat on the bone for the project to make sense. So this project can make sense in regardless of which market we are in. It just comes down to numbers. Now, of course, in a hot market, those types of projects probably don't come on as often as a softer market, because in a softer market, somebody that pool of opportunity is just going to open up a lot more for a real estate flipper, as opposed to a tighter market where a lot of home owners is going to compete against these flippers, so that the flipper sometimes gets priced out of making a flip. But regardless, my point being, they don't typically ask about market timing. They just look at evaluate on an individual project basis. The second type of investors I run into are buy and hold investors. And the buy and hold investors also look at a couple interesting factors. Typically, they have some financial models that they run the project through, IRR, internal rates of return, DCF, discount cash flow, or maybe just a back of the envelope capitalization rate calculation to see whether the projects make sense for them to purchase and hold for a long period of time. And ultimately, once again, it comes down to numbers and their opportunity cost. If they buy this particular project, what other project are they missing out on? If you are an investor and you are in a 1031 exchange, you have 180 days to liquidate, 180 days to find the replacement property after you have liquidated your old one. Well, in that case, you are kind of on a ticking clock to identify a replacement property. So whether the timing is right for you at that point may be irrelevant. You just need to identify a project that you can sink your teeth into and hold for the long term. I hope this has been helpful about how a real estate investor typically evaluates the market and look at opportunities out there that's available to him or her. If you find this helpful, please click like and share this video, and let me know in the comments below of what type of topic you'd like to talk about next time. For now, we will say goodbye, and I'll see you in the next episode. This is dannylau. See you next time.